This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Let's jump in.
All right. How's everybody doing today? How y'all doing? Sorry I'm late. I was having a little bit of issue. Actually, I was in such a dream that I couldn't wake out of. I was just like, man, I don't want to wake up. Anyways, my name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I hope that everybody's doing all right on this Monday evening. I wanted to get on here and I wanted to continue on whatever. Let me change. Well, I can't change it. It's not the 11th, it's 12th. Um, y'all hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go change that because otherwise people will be tripping out. All right, I'm back. I had to change the date because I know how people are, and they trip out. They trip out when any little thing is inconsistent. So I had to change it to May 12th, 2025. How y'all doing tonight? Man, I'm in here and everybody's in the chat already. Let's see who's up in here. JB, how's it going? Rondi Potter, Leslie and Billy, PKC, how are you? Mickey, Texas, how's it going? Joseph Rapp, how you doing? Looks like you guys are ready to rock and roll. Well, this first video that I'm going to show is to debunk a couple of things that are going around right now. And I have my buddies on the screen with me, so y'all be nice to them. I don't know if some of you have seen this video or not, but if you have, then hang on. We're about to go for a little ride. Part of this is going to be talking about, how right now people are big on well, there's a green Elantra all over the place, all over. There's not a green Elantra. I hate to break it to them, but there's not. Let me put this where I want it. Man, 12 Gauge needs to get up and quit napping for reals. Like he gets up here and he's all late and everything. Can y'all see that all right? Let me put my little avatar over here where y'all can see it. How many of y'all believe that there's a green Elantra? Does anybody in here actually do not be doing that, Leslie? Do not be doing that. Don't be copying other people's stuff in here. I don't even like that lady. Anyways, how many of y'all believe that there's a green Elantra? I do know that there's a green Elantra in a video that, had been shown when the house was being torn down. But after that, I haven't seen, and I have seen footage before the house was torn down. um, that that green Elantra was parked in the back next to the Chrysler 300. So, as somebody stated earlier, I think it was JB Gunner that stated earlier, he said, if it's green, if that's the Elantra, don't you think they would have just walked over there instead of driving the Elantra around and possibly being seen, you know? Well, let's go ahead and start with this video and we'll get to going with this. Like I said, this has been around for a little bit, so if anything is out of the ordinary or not up to date with what we talk about right now, if I don't catch it, do understand that this video was like 11 months ago. Y'all didn't answer me. I asked you guys what y'all thought about the stun gun aspect. Have y'all ever heard that?
I've heard it.
When you
I
get
just
hit
don't know
with a
if it's
stun
true or
gun,
not.
do you scream out? Do you or do you just kind of free? I think I've seen people, at least with the ones that shoot
It depends on where you get hit
Yeah.
and
You
how
know,
strong they are, I bet.
I've never noticed Murphy in the background in this, Jeff.
Yeah, that's why I pull it up. I'm just sitting here basically arrowing down. I just
Have y'all
searched
ever
for,
seen that? Have you ever seen? Did you ever catch this whenever you were watching when the noise complaint was being done? Did y'all ever catch Murphy in the background? We just perfectly caught him in the background that night, and I was like, wow, I've never noticed him in that shot before. But that's pretty cool, I thought.
images on this hard drive I saw that and I thought, I mean, there's an image of the speaker for one as well, and Murphy there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that also answers the question too. I was also curious about, like, did Murphy just kind of roam free in the house? Because I think somebody the other night on a live was saying, well, how does Dylan hear Murphy when Murphy's in the room? But I think Dylan would know that on other days, many other days, Murphy was probably playing in Maddie's room, assuming with the noises that she's hearing, she probably think, oh, this is one of those days. Just happens to be in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. Can't you play with the dog tomorrow is what I'm thinking. Maybe, she might have been.
Exactly. But I've never noticed that. That dog's right there, right with the owner, He's like right there.
Yeah,
most dogs
it
are.
caught my eye too. I was like, oh, I never noticed that.
So that's the speaker that supposedly the perpetrator linked up to on his Bluetooth. How could you link up?
There's no way that's true.
I don't think so either.
I'm putting a big fat 0% chance on that happening.
I was thinking that too, because unless many people had said that he linked up to their Wi-Fi, and then there was people also stating that he linked up to that JBL speaker, which is right here, which is not, I doubt that he linked up to that speaker. But let me ask you a question, because I put this in a short today, and I need y'all's participation with this as well. Do y'all believe that during this encounter with the police, do you believe that Kohberger was the one that was calling these noise complaints? Yeah, we're gonna show that, Joseph. We're gonna show a camera that Jeff is messing with on this video. I just want to get to that. Do y'all believe that Kohberger was the one that was calling the 911 calls for the noise complaints? Little code that's usually sent to you from that device, and it's
you also have to, typically with Bluetooth devices, you have to put it in the mode to connect to, And I have a small JBL. Maybe the big ones are different. I've never used one, but you have to hold down the Bluetooth button and then it beeps and then you can connect to a new device, like a new phone or whatever to it.
I will say though that my daughter would irritate me because I'd be listening to music through my speaker and then she would just kind of like, of course now maybe she went through some connection process like you're talking about that's not as although I don't know, I what I'm trying to say was I'd be listening to music and then all of a sudden she'd connect with her Bluetooth to my speaker, put on her song.
Yeah. A lot of them allow like multiple connections like that.
I've got like a JBL, it's called an
I mean, we have a lot going on this video. The next part is we're going to show the coat on the fire hydrant, and we go over that, and then we start talking about the camera. So y'all just hang in there. I mean, we're going to be talking about a lot, even though none of this had been seen since people have been talking about this. I want you to know that if there's anybody new in here on the case, or if you're a little older, you may have forgotten about some of the stuff that has been talked about over and over and over.
An Extreme 3. It's kind of a pill.
Yeah, those JBLs. But you know what? Usually what happens on mine is if somebody's trying to connect, it knocks you off. It knocks the primary guy off, and you got to reconnect. But
it depends. Some of them have like two. They allow two phones to connect at once, so you like one person can pick a song, next person can pick a song.
Yeah.
So
I mean that kind of proved that probably wasn't.
But it would take a lot of work to connect to a Bluetooth speaker while you're committing a crime, and why would you do that?
Well, I don't know that it was while he was committing the crime. I think he was saying that, like, you know, whenever it happened, there was record of his phone trying to connect. I don't think the implication was he was like feeling like some music, or like, I don't know, maybe people need theme music while they're doing a crime like this. I don't know.
Well, Alex, we don't need to be angry here. I mean, whether you're being literal or whether you're being figuratively speaking, everybody's, free to have their opinion here. We don't try to push a narrative. So chill and have a good time, buddy. I think Xana's bed is full. You saw them take a full mattress and a big brown wood bed frame with the head and foot. Howard, I'm watching from the beginning. Okay. Yeah, we just try to chill in here. We don't really, try to start drama in the chat because you know what? Life's too short for all that, We're just talking. The same up here. The same up here.
None of us have the phone number of the executioner. I'm not 100% sure that's not. Let me look at it again before I say it. I mean, is it possible it's a pair of pants? It's really hard to tell because it's really obscured by the fire hydrant. And sometimes I look at it and I think it looks like a suit jacket, but actually right there at the very end, almost looks like the pants with the bottom legs at the bottom, or the leg openings at the bottom. I don't know.
I do see that too, Jeff. I do. But
what do y'all think in this video? Do y'all believe that this was a jacket? I don't really believe this was Maddie's jacket based on what we've learned recently. Nothing that we've learned recently has put anything on Taylor Avenue. So had there been anything on Taylor Avenue other than the 3 kids being stopped for the DWI stuff, other than that, there was nothing on Taylor Avenue to suggest that the Idaho 4 were ever over there, that she lost her jacket over there, or anything like that. What do y'all think, chat? I mean, we talked about this and we're getting to the camera. I know that you're wanting to see the camera part, but I'm leading you up to it. So tell me what y'all think about this jacket that was found on the fire hydrant. Do you think it was just coincidental that the jacket was there and it happened to be black? Or do you believe that it was a pair of pants, like Jeff is saying? Do you believe that it was something else? What do you think? Tell me about it.
It looks
right there. It looks like pants.
Yeah.
And I mean, and again, I'm one to give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt and assume, Brian is innocent. I presume innocent until proven guilty. They're competent until proven otherwise.
They've been proven incompetent a lot, Jeff. Come on. Come on, Jeff.
Give me one.
Mowry, Payne.
Maori, what's wrong with Maori? He was asked to do a simple task and not use the full capacity of a complex software. In my opinion, my guess. That's my guess. It's like using Microsoft
You're
Word
good,
to
Alex.
just do a one-page something or other.
The chat said it's a black jacket. Okay.
I'd have to watch Maori again to really go into detail on that one. But
Because I mean, he talked about how like the elements that went into that report, there it's like video editing. You know, video editing, it's non-destructive. The actual clips never get affected. You're just bringing them in, combining them, and then spitting out a final product.
yeah,
So my
you're
question-
talking apples and oranges with that, because the Cast Viz software, it has a lot of parameters that you put in like before. The issue is with that map that he screenshotted, they don't know the parameters on it.
So let me ask you
Like
a
what kind of
question.
parameters?
See, this is when Twiz was cool. This is when Twiz was cool and came over here, gave the channels some props, and was cool up in here. And I don't know what happened. Somehow or another, that crowd just went on their way. But he was on our panel and he was talking about the cast report at this point, and he had been talking a lot about the pings, and that's what he's talking about right now. If y'all don't understand what he's discussing at this moment, he is talking about the pings. And that was a big deal during this video time, that was what was going around, that they were trying to say his car couldn't have been where it was because supposedly it was at Wawa Park. It wasn't anywhere near the house. So that's what they're talking about right there.
Do them
I
police
don't know what
have
they would
gloves
be.
on? Do they have gloves on? Or can you see?
I think they do. Yeah, they look
Yeah,
like
they
their
have
hands
gloves
are
on.
black.
But look, if they were looking for evidence, they're shaking that coat. So if it has trace DNA on it, they're knocking it all off on the ground. They threw the coat back down. This is no big deal. Nothing to see here. We're taking off. Do you think they didn't know about Maddie's situation with the black coat at that point? Or do you think that they just said, hey, this isn't a big deal. I was looking for a knife. There's no knife in here. I'm going to move on down the road.
Was the black coat missing,
I don't know.
or do
Yeah,
people
I mean
just see them pick
that's
that
where
up?
my mind went, Twiz. It's like if they know they've seen the crime scene and they know maybe she was even still wearing the jacket, passed out in the jacket in bed, they know they're not looking for a jacket because it's there.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered that.
I think people read a lot, like way too much into a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because we just saw them on video. They picked it up. The one policeman went through the pockets, went through the sleeves, threw it back down. So I don't know. I don't know if this is even the black coat. I mean, to assume that this is the coat.
She wouldn't have even gone down here, right? 'Cause she got driven home, unless they walked the dog down here afterwards, because we don't know where they took the dog, I guess.
Yeah.
But why would the black coat be down here?
Maybe the Asian.
Good
person
point,
brought it.
Twiz. Good point.
I don't believe there's a way in QuickTime Player here I can zoom in. No, I can zoom in on my screen, but
I mean, there was
I
even
mean, it could take you into Adobe
conspiracy.
Premiere and we could zoom in on it. I was trying to see if there's a way to just play it in reverse.
Hold on a second. There's a. I'm talking to him like he's live right now. There was even a conspiracy that the policeman was putting a knife into his coat as he was throwing the coat down. There was a big conspiracy that he was putting a knife into his coat as he was throwing this down. There was a lot of conspiracies about this jacket. It went on for a long time.
First too. I guess I could just,
I can tell you this, though.
scroll it.
Lowry should have known that there was missing data from the stuff he was making that map with. Because I can tell you right now, with the very little that I know, I've never even used CastViz, that I wouldn't have submitted a map like that without some more information from what they used. Because I know what they're missing, and I know you can't tell shit from it.
Look at this comment. Allie says maybe he put on that black jacket to sneak out, but anything else on, maybe Bethany looked out, thought it was Maddie Quick or something to that effect. I don't know. In one of my videos, that jacket is hanging out from the blue dumpster, and there's a bunch of trash on side of the dumpster, like someone moved out in a hurry. Oh, and there's a white bag full of bloody towels.
What is that little tag or the
If they
kind of
knew the
white
perp
thing
was
sticking out
wearing
of the
black
bag?
and found black clothing, wouldn't that be reason enough to bag it? You would think so. You would think so.
Yeah, that would be a reason too, for sure. What do we know what date this video was taken?
I mean, that's what I'm wondering is,
Yeah, I'm
did
not
they
sure.
know at that point when they found this about the black coat?
I know I saw some, I don't know if it was stills or if it was more video from this time where there were officers that were like, you know, they were even, I think, down on the Banfield and just, looked like they were checking out the whole area there. But I don't remember the date. It's probably Googleable.
Right. So that's the thing
Do
is like
we-
I
do
don't
we
know a
know
lot of
that-
the date.
Okay, let me check the comments here. JB says, I do remember a retired officer saying whether the jacket was or was not part of the crime, it was sloppy work to not collect it as evidence. Okay, but that's good to know. That's good to know. It's interesting that they didn't collect it, but there had to be something for them to just throw it back down. But, you know, hopefully that wasn't a piece of evidence, but, you know, as we know so far, based on what we've been told, nobody's mentioned this jacket or them being down there by Taylor Avenue. So that's the point that I was trying to get with this.
Dates when this stuff happened anymore. So
But do we know for certain, Rollo, that that person lived at Taylor Apartments? I heard he lived 1,000 feet from Brian.
yeah, he's supposed to live over in Pullman.
Yeah. So let's just put this one some closure on it, because if it was her coat, they messed it up because they picked it up, shook it around, and then dropped it again. So they contaminated that crime scene. You know, so
And if it is a jacket, though, the way they're holding it there, it seems like they're holding it from like the neck of it. And that
Right.
the jacket she was wearing had a really big old hood. So I'm leaning towards this. If it's a jacket, that it doesn't have a hood, maybe, but I couldn't know for sure.
I
But
kind of want to
also
know
lean
what the
towards it
kids
being
wear.
pants.
Yeah, it might be pants, but I kind of want to know what the kids wear a lot. Because like when I lived in Pullman before, like you'd walk up on campus and 80% of the kids would be wearing black.
yeah,
What
black
brand
hoodie.
is that? North Face, black North Face pullovers.
Yeah.
That's what
Yep.
everybody wore when I lived here
Had the
before.
little logo on the back right
Yeah.
Yeah.
shoulder.
So
Yep.
like everywhere you went, you saw people wearing the same jacket. So people were like, well, that's Maddie's jacket. I swear that's pants. When he just threw them down there, you could tell how it folded
Didn't it
onto
seem
each
like
other.
pants?
Yeah, but every kid wore that. So like, I'm like, it's a black coat. Everyone wears black coats.
Yeah, those look like pants.
Yeah. You heard it here.
Hey. So my thing is, you know, if it was evidence, they would have bagged it. If it was pertinent enough to the investigation, whether they knew about it, whether
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't.
pants. Pause it right there. Look at how even those two things are. And you can tell how they round it. There's a crease.
Did you hear what 12 Gauge just said? If it was evident, they would have bagged it. Do y'all believe those are pants, or do you believe it's a jacket? I mean, it's hard to understand. It's hard to see through this video. I wish there was a way that the cameraman would have zoomed in a little bit better. But do y'all believe, one more time before we move on, whether this is jacket or whether it's a black coat? Y'all let me know. And we're getting to the camera part here. And here we go.
Kind of stated that he is innocent, but you know, he's still in the prison area. Where'd you get this, Jeff?
Well, I'm just, like I said, I'm just arrowing up through all my my images that are in my item.
Isn't that where that camera is supposedly?
That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you guys think it is right roughly right here?
It's like
To the
tucked
left of
up
the white
under
door?
one of the. Isn't it like tucked up under the downspouts from the gutter or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
straight
still
ahead.
looking. There's got to be
How much can you zoom in on that?
Yeah. Let me show you.
To see that porch area right there, that it's supposed to be around that area.
See, it starts
'Cause
getting
that's
really
710, yeah.
excited here. So, but this is the spot that we'd be looking for a camera,
Yeah.
and that would show us a view. Yeah, that shows a definitely good view. I would assume like
Yeah.
if this was my house, I was putting the camera there, it'd be there, but it'd be pointing a little this way because assuming somebody's going to come up these stairs to my door, I wanted to see that way. So it probably did get, if there's a camera there, probably did a
See,
really
I
good
wonder
view
if
of
if it has like two different lenses on it, because to me it looks like it's pointed down the street.
Like two different diagonal cameras like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it could be. Those are.
That's what I
pretty
didn't understand about that camera, because it looks like it's pointed down the street, so you're not catching anybody that actually goes up to your door. But
Yeah.
you'd see who's driving in or driving out, you know?
You know, the part that gets me in the PCA is where it says he attempted to pull in the driveway, got stuck, backed out, and then drove down Queen Road, did a 3-point turn, and then back around Queen Road Apartments. So he was attempting to drive into the driveway. What was he attempting to drive into the driveway for? Was he missing another vehicle? Was he, going to pull up in the driveway and go through the front door? Was he going to go around the side of the house? What was he going to do if
I don't know.
supposedly that was true?
I'm not going to be surprised when the white car driving around has nothing to do with the crime.
Right. I mean,
Well, we know a little different now, Twiz, but it's interesting how people at this time frame, they were still holding on to a lot of different thoughts, and which is okay.
that just came from the PCA. So I was
Yeah.
I was wondering about that. I'm like, man, and Jeff and I have talked about that as well. The respectful guilters we are, we've talked about that thoroughly, about the tire mark. We talked about. I thought that he possibly slid off the turn there as he was turning. He clipped it, got too close, and just went over the edge right there and got caught, got stuck, and then had to back out. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I had heard.
I mean, the
heard from
description's
somebody.
so vague.
I had heard from somebody. I don't know if it's true or not, but that there was their opinion, or what they had heard was that maybe one of the trash cans had also been knocked over, and I don't know if that the implication is that, because I'm thinking, see if you can see my cursor, I'm thinking he parked back here, somewhere like here, because there's no windows on this side of the house. Came out the sliding glass door, got in a car, went down this way.
See, now that we've heard that he left at a high rate of speed, that's what Jeff is talking about right now, because one night we were discussing those tire marks, and we spent probably 3 hours discussing the tires and, him rounding that corner. And in the PCA, if you don't remember, it discusses him almost turning into the driveway at 11:22. And right here at the corner, there were some trash cans. So we were discussing, could he have clipped those trash cans on his way out? And like last night, I was talking about, the 358 cam. And this is what I was talking about. You see these vehicles right here? You can see my cursor. There's cars on this side, and then up the hill, they're on the other side of the road. So him coming down here, it makes sense that he would be coming down here at a slower pace and going back up. But for whatever reason, he made a beeline at 421. And I believe that he almost clipped those trash cans, or he did clip them, because he shot out of there fast, if you remember that video. But of course, people have tried to say that that was superimposed and that wasn't the normal speed and things like that. So I ask you, what do y'all think in the chat? Do you believe that it was his speed? Do you believe that he could have clipped those trash cans on the way out? I mean, because in the PCA it does say that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the PCA, even though the PCA is not really relevant at this point. We can still use it for a diagram for a timeline and things like that. Yeah, the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming.
Lost control a little bit, near maybe almost hitting this curb. But that would also explain, if that's true, what I heard about one of the trash cans being knocked over. I could see maybe if he jumped the curb in trying to not lose control.
Yeah,
But when I listen to
fast.
the sound of the car speeding away at 4:21 and 19 seconds, if I've listened to it and tried to imagine, okay, it sounds like I think he's making a turn, losing a little control. Then there's a moment where I'm imagining he's like, oh crap, that was close, and then he hits the gas to take off to go down Queen to,
You know how we've been given little nuggets, like they said, supposedly Xana's dad said that they were eating pizza, right? Was that pizza delivered? Was it bought at Walmart? Did they, was there any way to trace back a receipt to show if that was true? Was there any pizza in their stomach? Things of that nature. I mean, that's evidence right there. Okay.
Right.
So that plus the DoorDash, if the DoorDash was not even eaten, if there wasn't a drink, if she didn't touch the drink or any of that, that means that possibly she was already gone before the DoorDash order got there.
And that is not true. I want to correct that. The only part about that statement that could possibly be true is the fact that once she got that DoorDash order, as we saw in the Dateline episode, she supposedly was running down the stairs into her room. And at that point, he attacked her. So I don't know how much of the DoorDash order she was able to really eat, or if there was a lot, whatever she ordered, was she able to completely eat it? Was she on her way to the kitchen to throw the bag away? I mean, is that when she heard the commotion upstairs and that's why she ventured upstairs? It just it's a lot of questions with that, but let me know what you think. How did Xana get in that vicinity if she was already in her room with the DoorDash order, supposedly? I believe she did make it to her room with the DoorDash, but do you believe that she came back to the kitchen to get something, to maybe drop off the trash? What do you believe? Let me know.
Now, if the DoorDash order was gone, like if she ate the burger or Ethan ate the burger or the french fries and you found particles of food in their stomachs from that DoorDash order plus the pizza, then you would be able to say, okay, well, this is true. But a lot of that goes into the forensic part of it. You have to dissect deeper than the surface, and we're unable to see that, but they know all this. They know all this information. So think about that DoorDash order. If there's no food eaten, there's none of the drink drank, who would get a DoorDash order and not instantly eat some of it? Was it dropped on the floor? Where was it placed? Was it even in the room? Did it even make it in the house? You get what I'm saying? Was there fingerprints of any of the victims to pick up the order off the bag? Who picked up the bag? You would surely have fingerprints of somebody that touched that bag other than the DoorDash driver. So if none of that is on there, it has to make you think.
I mean, that's all we can do right now is think.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
can we get the report on what was in their stomach, what was digested? Who
Come on,
picked up
Quiz,
the
get on
DoorDash
it.
driver? Like, there's so many questions about this thing that we just do not know.
Hey, you're a local, man. Go slip a 20 to the coroner or go to Spokane.
Very good point, Mickey. The DoorDash did come at 3:59. You're right. So she had to order 5 to 8 minutes before he came in. So I mean, She could have eaten quite a bit, or maybe she could, maybe she finished it. We don't know what she received, so it's really hard to tell. If she got a small order, it would make sense that she had time to eat a lot of it. But if she didn't, then it kind of makes you wonder.
I'll
Go to
give
sleep,
Mabbit
Ray.
some favors for
Yeah.
some info.
Hey, you'll be in the courtroom and say, "Hey, I'll give you front row seat if you just chill with me. I want to pick your brain on some stuff." She sounds like
it's
somebody
if you
that's
did-
very open-minded and will talk about it to anybody. You know,
Didn't I just read that I think Rory's channel has like 11,000 subscribers now? And I mean, I know when I first saw him, he was wasn't he at the Jack in the Box, Boots on the Ground? I think that was the
Yeah.
very first time I remember seeing him. Shoot, man,
Yeah.
Twiz, you're right there. Your channel,
Well, he was in
explode.
town yesterday and he didn't say hi to me, so
man.
Oh man, denied.
yeah.
Let me ask y'all one more thing, and then I gotta cut it. Okay. You see where that little building is, right directly across from 1122. There's a pole right there, and then there's that little building. I don't know if it's a utility building across from that silver car. There's steps to go down there. You see that? Can you zoom in a little, Jeff?
Which part?
Right there.
Wait,
Like
right,
zoom
right in this
in.
area.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, that area. Okay, so do you?
Very good point, Joanna. Very good point. It's okay, Allie. I mean, we're taking our time tonight a little bit. Don't have very much going on other than to spend some time with you guys because, like I said, I was gone for a whole week, not by choice. It is. She could have got some salt and pepper. We don't know. I mean, because they don't put that in the bags a lot of times, and some people like their food with a little seasoning. Oh, I don't blame her. She would have went and got some salt and pepper. You know what I mean? That's a very good thought. But regardless, I really, even though they did find that Jack in the Box bag, I still hold true that that wasn't part of the evidence. I believe that that was a Jack in the Box bag from another time, not necessarily the night. Unless, if it was, then they just left it out in the open for all that time while they were snapping photos and everything. I mean, that just seems kind of crappy as far as police work concerned. You know what I mean? But let's continue on. How are y'all enjoying this so far? Hope y'all are enjoying it. We're getting to the camera part right here.
Do y'all remember hearing that? When the girls got home, there was supposedly some people around that tree that were yelling out their names. How true do you think that is?
I don't know.
Do you believe that there was actually people watching for them to get home?
There were people at the tree yelling their names before they got home.
No, as the DoorDash driver, or not DoorDash, shit. The
As
rideshare.
the rideshare driver.
Yeah, the rideshare driver. Hell, they were with I don't want to start that rumor. They were with the DoorDash driver. They dropped off the food. No,
Okay, let me go ahead
they
and
were with
speed
the
it up a little
rideshare
bit.
driver. They were getting out of the.
That's Kaylee's window. That was through
Yes.
here because you can see this little black thing. with
Yeah,
the
it's her
flow on it.
TV.
Yeah.
That's wall mounted.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's it.
That just eerie to think about. That house just stood still after that night. You know?
Like frozen in time.
You know what I keep thinking, and now that we know this, that the killer took time to sit in Xana's chair and left an imprint of blood on that white chair, on that white fuzzy chair, I'm assuming, because that's the only chair that I ever saw in her room. So the killer had time to sit in that fuzzy chair and leave an imprint with the blood. Isn't that terrible to think about? Isn't that creepy to think about? I mean, it just It just turns my stomach just thinking about it right now. What do y'all think about that when you heard that on the Dateline?
Yeah.
And I'm scouring trying to find. It's like they were all photographers in that area were said, do not photograph 712. Don't show that
Yeah.
camera
I
on the front of
know.
it. It's like,
I
come
know,
on.
man. I know. I got you on that one. Yeah.
Even there was a YouTuber that was out there on the corner and she was walking backwards and it's like, okay, it's about to come into view. It's about to come into view. And then she pans over to the front of
Yeah.
the house. It's like, oh, come on.
I wonder if 712 is where that neighbor. There was some neighbor who was trying to give him a tip early on, and he had a gun, and everyone started saying that he was the killer. Maybe
Wow.
that's his house.
Wow.
Like the kid was trying to help.
I never
and
heard of that.
everyone online started saying that he was the killer.
I never heard of that. Have
I
y'all
honestly
heard
don't
that?
blame people for like locals for talking about this case, because look at what happened on Grub Truck. Everyone that walked by was labeled a potential suspect. Like, it's wild.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, this is an interesting image if you think about.
I'm thinking about coming to Moscow in November, Twiz. I might have to meet up with you, brother.
Yeah,
They
if there's
can give
hearings
me-
going on.
You can give me a tour.
I know nothing about Moscow. I can drive in from Pullman, go to Walmart Winco, and I did go to Humble Burger. And then I can go to the courthouse. But I mean, we could Google Map anything. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm trying to get Jeff to go with me, man. So
I think it'd be cool.
I can have a
should.
cameraman while I do the commentary.
I had like 5 people that wanted to go to that one
Got it
hearing,
right here, 12 gauge, ready to go.
and then they canceled it.
As you can see, this is when the house was being destroyed. And I didn't really watch it live, but here's a better view of what I was talking about earlier as far as his car coming around that corner. There was some trash cans right here. And in the PCA, it talks about that car leaving at a high rate of speed and almost turning into their driveway and then backing out and then going back down the road. I know I read that in the PCA because I've read it so many damn times that I remember it almost by heart. So he would have had to fly around this corner right here. And it's a miracle he didn't crash into this dumpster because that dumpster is not moved. And as we've seen in other photos, there's some skid marks that turn into this driveway. So I don't believe that those were his, but I believe that they probably got some tire markings off his tires if he did leave any that day. Because as you remember, that's where one of the gloves was found, is where these trash cans were right here. There was a glove like in between these two trash cans. And I don't know if that's one of the gloves that they're talking about that didn't get tested thoroughly for the DNA or not. So, but I do remember that photo, and I've gone over that on another video.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting about this image here is that if you imagine, you know, this is the house, obviously. This building is directly in between it and where the Linda Lane camera is on the other side
Right.
of this building. It's really, so any sound that is coming from inside this house has to go around, you know, or between.
Well, thank you for that, Alex. I didn't remember that. Thank you for remembering that. That's cool that you thought of that.
The buildings.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
that that's
foresee.
impossible, but
Yeah, I don't foresee Linda Lane picking up any audio from the house.
and I can tell you that the person that owns the Linda Lane camera said in an email to me that he didn't see that camera picking up the sound of anything inside, you know, that house.
Yeah, I don't. That I mean, because the apartments there are loud with the people that live inside of it, so you're gonna have combating audio from the inside of its own apartment.
And check this one too. This one is from the other direction.
Wouldn't those trees next to the house kind of muffle any sounds that you'd get from that house, anyways?
Yeah, you'd think that too.
So I mean, if you
Yeah.
imagine with this one here, see the camera.
Who had the
camera's
drone
right
out?
here.
Jeff. No.
This photograph. No, I didn't do that. This photograph came from the landlord's realty site. I think it's still up on there. It's a very high quality image. You can zoom way in, but
Yeah,
so
Why
you've
didn't
got-
he use high quality to put on his apartments, man?
it uses up a lot of data.
Oh,
yeah. The camera I've got the same camera almost. I think I'm
Here
off
we
by
go.
one model number. I think he said his was 522A. This is a 520A, but
Okay, we're getting into the camera part, and this is the part that's going to kind of debunk what's been going on about right now about the lime green Elantra. And I want you to be open-minded on what we say, even though it's hard to tell a little bit of what we talk about and what he shows. Do have an understanding that when it does turn a certain color, you have to understand that this is the kind of camera that is being projected at nighttime. So here we go.
it I think it functions pretty much the same, but there are a lot of settings. You can set it for high quality or you can set it for crap quality depending on how much data you want to be using.
hey Jeff,
This
you
is
want to
where-
show
this is
that
the-
video right quick that you took on your camera?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Why don't you
But
show
look,
that real
just
quick?
so that so since we saw the other side, we saw the house there, the building between it, and then the camera is here. This is the steps where those people go up at 1227, and for I think by now everybody knows this is a dead end right here. You can't get to the where the house.
See, I was
happens.
questioning that. I didn't realize that was a dead end. I thought you could go around that tree.
Yeah, this is the end of Linda Lane, and then over here, this is Queen Road that wraps around, the apartment buildings. Yeah, and that's how I first reached out to the landlord, because I saw an apartment tour video where they actually had, this is 1320 down here. This is where the camera that shot down Taylor Avenue is located. He had 2 videos that were an apartment tour. They had 2 units in 1320.
And if you don't know, this is where the original camera caught Koberger's car going on Taylor Avenue at around 3:29, I think, somewhere around there. I'm bad with the timestamp, but this is the original camera that they found. That this was the first camera that picked up the white Elantra near the area as it was making its turn around Queen Road Apartments. So there's a camera here, and there's a camera over here. And he's talking about his replica is the camera that's right here that points toward Building 52.
She showed the apartments, and then she walked up the hill up to here and went up these stairs, hung a left, and showed the laundry room. And I reached out to him to ask if because I know when I shoot videos, I got a lot of extra footage I didn't use. That's like, I'm trying to see if you had any extra footage of this. And then it was shortly after that those videos were taken down from YouTube. So hopefully I didn't cause that. And I'll say it again, because I've said it about 100 times by now. Lana on Truth and Transparency showed those videos during one of her live streams. So they still exist there.
Right.
I would be looking for them if it were me, because I think it'd be, best I can do. I had one still frame that I took of her walking up. I don't know if I could find it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of trees around that area, so any kind of sound would be muffled out, I would believe, even in the winter without the leaves. I mean, there's a lot of wooded area. Wouldn't that muffle out the sounds?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
think
you have sounds in between there.
Yeah.
Not only do you have to get the sound from the house to there, but you have to come like these 2 apartment buildings on the right.
Yeah.
Like that sounds in between it, and that sound's gonna echo back and forth out of it and kind of interfere with it. Like I just don't see any way sounds from that house hits that camera. Unless someone's like outside screaming or something like crazy loud, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too, because look at all the objects in between where this camera is situated and where 1122 is. It's right here. So if somebody, it's very probable that maybe the dog was picked up, but I don't think so. I've heard a dog on those Linda Lane videos, but it could be any dog. It could be the dog back here in the backyard taking care of his business. It could be a dog walking around up here in any of these apartments. It could be a dog in the apartment. You just never know. It doesn't necessarily mean that the dog that you hear on that camera is Murphy. You know what I mean?
I think, I don't know if you can see it, but this is the microphone is this little tiny dot, like right under that white light.
Mhm.
Man,
See
that's
it?
nothing. That's
Wait, yeah.
nothing.
I need to catch some.
That'd be a hell of a microphone to pick up that
See
sound.
See that little tiny
Yeah, you can
dot
kind of
at
see
the
the
bottom?
reflection
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the microphone is. That's a tiny, tiny microphone. This camera's under $100. I've got a microphone over there that's like $600, you know, and I don't see that mic picking up what's going on inside that house. But wait, what was the video? Oh, the video.
Did y'all ever have any thought on whether or not there was actually noises that were picked up on that Linda Lane 1330 camera? Give me your thoughts on that. Do you believe there was any actual noise picked up, or do you think it just was doctored up a bit?
Like lions in Africa, and they record them with infrared at night. It's wild what you see.
So how are those cameras mounted? Is it like 3 screws or whatever?
Yeah, it's got oh, hold on. Oh,
This part right here
let me
is
turn off
getting
my
to the
mic. I'm
good
getting
part.
echo on my end. Audio. Okay,
Y'all
audio
come on
off.
in
Yeah,
for the
it's got a
lurking.
plate
Y'all come on in, chat
like
with
this.
us.
And then I think
Okay,
it,
we're
it
friendly in here.
screws onto these 3 tabs, locks.
Rotates on.
Yeah. See, it's got the bottom cable tucked
Okay.
in here.
Be sure to hit that like button,
But,
subscribe,
Yeah, see if I
become
put
a member
on,
if you're not already a member.
oh, it should be on now. Why is it not on? Oh, okay. Let me switch it over to night mode. Because you can set it on auto, color, or black and white. And black and white is in essence infrared. But you can see, there you go. Now it's got the red lights on it. So, and this, this doesn't, rotate by like any kind of little motor. You just position it, and then you just, like they did in Linda Lane, you put it there and you forget about it. I'm probably sure he thought, we'll never need any of this footage from this camera for anything. But if you want to see it, let me bring that clip back up, because I know 12 Gauge and I were talking about like just the, actually, let me find the one that I texted you, because that one had like the blur of the headlights was kind of similar in nature to the gas station photo. All right, here comes. Lane camera was doing 2 things. It was recording constantly, and it was also recording triggered video clips. So I think, and from what I understand too, it was the very next day he provided the password so that the FBI could go check out. And I think he said it was 30 days worth of video clips. And I would imagine they didn't just look at a couple days here and there. They probably said, okay, we have access to all 30 days. Let's take all 30 days. Because who knows, something nefarious.
Look how those lights.
But they didn't request for the cameras coming into Moscow to be preserved.
Well, now, is it, do we know though that they're not those types of cameras that guy from the Idaho Transportation Department talked about, where they're 24 hours and then they're gone? They're really, it sounds
that
like
I don't know.
It sounds like,
but
they're
it
more
sounds
for
like
when there's an accident and they need to
right.
see live what's going on for the ambulances. And
it sounds like there is a time frame that Moscow PD could have submitted a preservation on those cameras, and they didn't do it. That's what I'm wondering. Like, what's the time frame they have? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. What do you think, Twiz, about, like, I mean, you're in there in the room, you get a sense of these,
I wish Jeff was in here right now. He's a guitar practice or his band practice. But I was going to ask him, how did he have this camera set up outside of his home if it was on a tripod or something, or he was holding it? Because as you can tell, the lower the camera is, the less the lights interfere with the shot. Kind of like in the 1122 area, we see that Elantra, and this is kind of what we see. I can tell you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not one of those people that try to dig deeper as far as, is this a red car? Is this a blue car? This is a white car. Okay? It's nighttime, and I've done some research, and color needs light in order to come across on a camera. So every vehicle, if it's any kind of color darker than white, it's going to look like these over here that are kind of blackish or grayish. This is a white car. There's no color, so therefore it's going to show the white on the vehicle. Look at the lights as well. You don't see the red light, you see the white trail. You know, you don't see the turning signal light or the parking light, you just see all white. There's a reason why these things occur, and it isn't because it's unfiltered out or it's not showing up. It's because there's no light. It's dark. Look at the tree. The tree has no light. So therefore, it looks grayish, almost white. It's coming from the light reflection of whatever is coming from this camera that's pointing this out, and it's lighting it up. And there's like you said, there's an infrared part in this camera that lights this stuff up. But it doesn't light it up like you think. It's not like it shoots a spotlight at it. It's infrared kinda, so you can't see it. But when it transports itself onto the video, this is what comes out. Kind of the grass as well. He said the grass wasn't dead, it was green. But you can tell the difference between the pigmentation. There's a darker level of the grass. The bush is darker. The plant over here is darker, and then it gets light right here. So if this area it could be the driveway. I don't know. This is his front yard, so he obviously knows it better than I do. Let's continue on because we get to some good stuff here in a minute.
You know, when these detectives step off the stand, I'm like wondering, are they trying to just? This isn't the place for them to just be spilling their guts. The trial is the place where they spill their guts. This is the place where they say the least,
Right.
just what's needed, not giving any more, any less, no more than. I mean, there's no reason for them to say, you know, all that much. So then, in essence, then we look at that and we think, oh man, they're hiding something, or you know. It's like I look at it and say they're just trying not to screw up the case, which I can understand. Where it's like some people think it doesn't make sense. Why would Bill Thompson not want to screw up the case and care about Bryan Kohberger's rights as a citizen? It's like, well, he's an American too. We're all Americans. I don't see that he's trying. I know I'm in the minority because we're what is it again? Respectful guilters.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jeff. Based on this, where you have it paused, you see the glare of the lights on the house and the car. Is with this camera, can you clean up that at all, or can you put a different filter on that to get a different lighting? I mean, is it possible, or is that just the image that you get?
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, I think there are, you know, manual settings where you can adjust like the exposure and things like that. But I mean, that's something you're going to do prior to capturing anything that you're interested in watching. You know, after the fact, this is just a video clip. There's only so much that you can do.
Right.
I mean, there is like in this camera, this is a Canon 5D Mark IV. I can shoot in what's called log, where it shoots with the black levels a little higher than normal and the white levels a little lower, so that if I blow out the sky, I've overexposed it, it's okay. I can still pull it back in. Or like with RAW is what's used with still pictures. With RAW, I mean, there's a picture I took of this family as a little family portrait. That sky was just white, just solid white. It's what it looked like on my camera. I thought I left that photo shoot feeling like, oh man, I don't feel like I got the shot I wanted. And then I brought it into Adobe Lightroom, which is similar to like Photoshop. The sky
Well,
was
I'm
there.
intrigued. I'm
you know.
intrigued by this shot. Did the lighting come from the camera, or did it come from your house garage?
Yeah, like I said, the front of my house, where the camera is inside of, this was pitch black. I turned off the lights in the front of the house. I even turned off the lights in the house because I know if this is really sensitive camera to light, I didn't want anything. So I was just curious. This is all. And let me look one more time. I thought I had captured a clip where I had it without the infrared on, and maybe I.
Man, that's impressive. I think I think that's an impressive shot.
Well, I think it's cool that I finally
it gives you a
took
different
the thing out of the
perspective.
box and started doing something with it.
Yeah, it gives you a different perspective. I mean, you can see the Linda Lane camera, but this is the camera that you set up and you made the shot happen, So it wouldn't be, I mean, you didn't.
Because obviously the 11-12 camera is not the same camera that Jeff has, but they kind of work in the same similarity, especially at night. So he was saying on another video that 11-12 camera probably has an infrared beam that it shoots out just like this camera. So the night vision would give you the same type of effect. Let me speed it up a little bit because we're talking about this shot and then he get to the good stuff right here.
When it goes
That's what I was wondering.
Because
you only have one camera, right?
No, actually I have two.
Because you should set up one on one side of your house and then one on the other side of the house, but have the other side with lights on and see if they could pick up different colors when the cars drive by.
Let me show this first, Jeff. Shown this before. I haven't seen it in a while. It's going to make me smile.
I know what it is.
That other dog just eating a bone, being like, "Shut up."
And I think he was just trying to let a little bit of the play clock run down.
Dogs are so funny.
I think I could do it this way. I was making sure that I'm not pointing the camera at anything that's going to dox me. But if you want to take a look at this, this is just a bunch of crap on the shelf to my right. And if I go,
that looks like a horror movie, like what you'd film a horror movie with.
So here's color mode, so you can get a sense. Like that photo knockout book is in bright yellow. And here's when I switch it to black and white.
No, that wasn't Murphy. It's just a random golden doodle pic I got off, or a video I got off of YouTube.
Actually, to give you an idea too of like, let me turn off the light that's here. Find the dang switch.
Are you going to trip out, Jeff, if there's a...
Okay, so y'all need to pay attention to this lighting because this has been the biggest discussion on YouTube for the last week. And this is going to show you that there's a lot of people that are just confused as far as what they run with. As you can tell, this is the color. This is with the light on. He had the light on. He had that camera out. And he's going to show you the differences in the lighting and how it colors. And pay attention to see, like we were just saying, whether you notice any other areas that could be color that aren't color.
Ghost, it appears.
Definitely, yeah. I still got some light. There's still light here. But then if I turn, come here. It's all upside down and backwards the way I'm holding it. There we go.
Yeah, they do bark. That dog had a very distinctive bark also. I mean, it kind of inhaled and took a very deep breath and barked until it had no breath left, it sounded like.
See right there, it's in the dark. As you can tell, all this once had color. Now the camera is broadcasting it in night vision. So you notice the difference in the color schemes, but you can still see the darkness of where color once was, even though it's like this was obviously white, but it trips you out here in a little while. But this is my point: is they're saying that it was a green Elantra, and if it was a green Elantra, it needs light in order to project that green. Otherwise, it would look like this color. You'd still see a variance of this color, and he's going to show you that here in a second.
Well, you see with the R2D2, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm comparing everything to.
white is white, but I think Twiz, you were pointing out, like, could the car have been a bright yellow? I mean, this is yellow. Can you see my mouse? Is it? Yeah. So this is yellow.
That looks
bright
pretty
yellow.
similar. Even the skin on the dudes up top, like that pretty much all looks white too.
Yeah.
And the Fallout dude's arm or vest or whatever is blue, and it's showing up pretty light on there too.
Rondi says, "Is that a gnome on there? You have a gnome?
A gnome? Do I have a gnome?
Yeah.
Where did I have a gnome? I think I do have a gnome somewhere. Oh no, that gold thing in the back.
Yeah.
Is that what you were talking about? No, that's actually a video award.
Oh wow,
that tall
nice.
pointing thing. Well, this is good to know. This camera doesn't focus up super close like this very well.
In my opinion, she says, I have a real Link. My son had a red truck, but at night it looks white.
Yeah, but see how blue that is, and then when you turn the infrared on, it's pretty light. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me do this real quick. Let me turn off all the lights in the basement here. Wait, hold on. Let me stop this for a second.
You're playing with fire now, Jeff.
I mean, that car could be any color, judging by this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the only light that I've got right now is actually coming from the computer monitor. Let's see. Let me turn that down.
Heather's cracking me up, man. Look at this. Jeff H proves it's not BK. All the guilters lose it.
Right? That'd be funny. Someday I'll convince
Okay.
Jeff.
All right,
Aquarius,
so
thank you so much for being here and being an awesome mod. You have a good night. See you on the next one.
I'm telling y'all,
Actually, let's
and
go back to
prove BK's innocent last hearing. Nobody knows it yet, though.
Not Aquarius. Yeah.
That didn't age too well, did it, Twiz?
Have a good night.
So it is.
See, that yellow just looks like so much stuff. Put up that Fallout guy next to the yellow.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't even see. This is just like Silence of the Lambs. I can't see at all where. Okay, where's the spot where you?
But that R2D2 is white, so I mean it's not changing one bit. The blue is still a different color. It's kind of black.
Yeah, it's like
Really?
it's not white, but it's still light. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so
Does infrared?
So y'all tell me what you think as far as this night vision camera. You saw the color, now you see what it looks like in the dark. Do you agree that that's still a lime green Elantra, or that it was a white Elantra? You let me know.
Work off lasers,
I'm not sure.
or is that just a light?
Carla, good to see you here.
I'm assuming that's just a light on that.
I have to look into it because I mean it has definitely has to do with those red lights that come on.
Right.
I'm assuming too that maybe there's no
Yeah,
coincidence.
Heather
it's
said the
called
blue is
infrared
still
and the
white.
lights are red.
But the blue on that dude's bandana looks dark.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah, so
but his shirt is white. Wow.
yeah, see, there's in color mode, and here's back to black and white.
And there's the
infrared.
ghost.
So let me give some a little bit of light back in here so I can see at least something when it goes to color mode. Jeez, can't see anything.
If y'all are in here, the live on Wednesday had been rescheduled for 9 o'clock instead of 7 Central. So 9 o'clock instead of 7 Central for the live on Wednesday. Something came up with Andy, and hopefully he'll be in the chat here in a minute to say hello to everybody. I invited him in here. So pass that along. I will change it on the community tab and everything else. Thank you. Here we go.
Yeah, so I just turned the regular light back on. Here's
So surely it wouldn't matter
an
if it was
idea.
outside or inside, right? Color's color.
Yeah, I don't. Right. I don't think that would matter.
See, that's
Now-
so weird that the bandana is still dark. Like you could tell that's a dark color, but the dude
Yeah,
right
like
next
the
to him,
red, like the
jacket
red
does
kind of
not.
turns to gray. You see how the red turned to gray a little bit
Yeah.
in the bandana?
Let's see. What about this thing? This is a dark green
See, this is the green label
label
maker.
maker.
Look at this. Look what it does. Y'all look. Here's the moment.
It's like green and orange.
Look, it
Oh,
didn't
wow.
turn white. It didn't turn white.
How could you
This is
tell what
interesting.
color that was at night?
Hmm.
Right. This is interesting. This right now, I've got my light that was lighting my face turned off.
It did
Now I'm
not
gonna turn
turn
it on.
white.
You can't see a difference.
Mm-mm.
No.
That's weird. Yeah. See, here's what I was doing. I'll put it in color mode and show you the difference. This was with the light off, obviously. And then when I turned it on, hit the right button. There you go. So that's what I was doing, and you don't see the difference in that.
Makes you really wonder if all those cameras they have around that house are infrared. There's no way they could even tell it's a white car. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
They better have some better footage than that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Really? No, you don't, 12. Shut up. You
But
don't
when that
either.
Jeep showed up, it was kind of it didn't look red, but then when it got to the color, it was red, right? That Jeep that dropped off those 4 people.
Oh, when it
Yeah.
when it switched into color.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Once you switch.
There's
to
your
color mode,
boom
yeah,
right
you're
there.
seeing
There's your boom right there.
You're getting a representation of the color.
I'm going to
So
show you.
if somebody
in a
said,
minute.
"Hey, you're looking at a label maker. What color is it?"
Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute where they hang on to that green car because it does turn a different color. But still, Jeff made an interesting point also. So y'all be listening. This is a gray label or a green label maker, and look at the color. You can see the darkness of the color. It is not white. This is green in the light. Since there's no light anywhere, it darkened the shade of the color. So if that Elantra was green, it would darken the shade like this. It wouldn't turn it a different color. Like I said a while ago, in order for color to be reflected, it needs light. Otherwise, it comes out this color.
To me, I'd have to say grayish.
Yeah, like a dark gray
Yeah.
with some gray
What about
buttons.
this? What color? What color is this roll of tape?
Gray.
I
White.
don't know.
White.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, orange.
It's like bright.
Hey,
Oh,
send me that
no.
tape.
Wow. Why do you have tape, Jeff?
Oh, I've got. I mean, it's gaffer's tape. It's every videographer has to have it for taping down cables. I actually
Yeah.
bought some white
But
tape.
also, people have to understand and they have to be open minded enough to know that when you take color out of something, it's going to leave the darkest hue or the lightest hue. So, this is a whitish color because it's taking out the orange on the tape. So, it's going to leave an impression of something, but it's not the same material as the label maker. So, it turns it into looking white. But people are running with the fact that you can take color out of something. And therefore, if you see a red vehicle in the dark in these infrared cameras, it's going to turn that red vehicle into white where it was originally red. And that's not true.
Tape, which is very handy because it makes it great for labels. If you've got Sharpie.
So
or white
everybody says
gaffer's tape.
white, Jeff. That tape is white, but it's really not white.
Yeah,
How about
they
this
better.
this little-
Guys, I'm gonna be mind blown if they arrested this kid because they thought his car was white driving by cameras like this that night.
check this one out.
And this is the part where they hang on to this, and this is where they started the whole conspiracy with the color. You see that? What color do you think this is? Before I play it, what color do you think this is? Those of you that have seen this already, you know the color. But think about this right here. This is where it started, right here. Right here. This is where it all started.
Now, this is interesting. What color do you think this little notebook is?
I can't even guess.
Look at that. You can't
Green?
even see
Wow.
the lettering isn't even visible.
But did you notice before it turned green, it was gray? Did you notice that? It went from whitish to gray to green. It didn't just go from white to green. So people may want to tell you what they want you to see, but it's not real. They'll tell you, see, that's a green tablet right there. So when you take the light away from it, it's going to turn white. But this is not a metal. This is a paper. As we saw with the duct tape as well, this turned white because this is not metal. Metal reflects light. So therefore, even the littlest light is going to keep the white hue of a white vehicle. If it was any other color, that little infrared light would continue to keep the darkness of the hue. It would not turn the car white, just like what it did with this label maker. It didn't turn it white, it made it gray.
Full in infrared.
Hey, you know that people say there's a green Elantra that lives around that house, right?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Look at what that just did to it.
Yeah. It turned it white.
That's insane.
See, the light bulb went on right there, and it's been on
Now,
since.
but the other thing is too, though, keep in mind these little red lights that are on this camera are very close to the subject it's shooting. The Linda Lane camera and the distance to the car that does the U-turn, I don't see that having that big of an influence. I mean, like pointed out the front of my house, you can see I think it did have an influence on that tree that was to the left. But I think out to the street, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's maybe why it's seen on reflective objects, because like the trucks that are parked in front of the light bulb camera place, those license plates are pretty bright. But as you go further back, the truck that's parked by the dumpster in that same shot, it's not as bright. So I don't, the light is only going to travel so far.
Yeah, I actually think it kind of works, or it depends on the shade of color it is, what the material it's on. I think there's a lot of things that could play into this.
And I'm only showing
Hey
this 'cause I
Jeff, I'm
printed
going to
it.
show
I found
you.
this at a
I'm
yard
going to
sale.
show you a pic. Let me see if I can get it.
Anybody know what that is?
It's a speeder from Star Wars,
Yes.
of course.
Got it at a yard sale. This little girl the mother was letting the little girl do the sales, and you know, she didn't even know, like, you know, dollar amounts or anything, but you can see it's marked 50 cents, and so her mom told her what it said, and she said 50 cents please, and I gave her $1, and then she's like, no, it's 50 cents. It's like,
Take
you'll
the
learn.
50
You'll learn.
cents.
Take the $1. But let's see what this does.
Better put that extra
Actually, I
50
was looking
cents in
for
your
something
college
that's
fund, girl.
reflective.
Oh wow! I just got a handful of pictures. Awesome. I have to look at these.
But did you notice also when he turns that into night mode, it gives it a flash that lights it up, and then it changes to a different color. Like you can still see a difference in the color. It's not white. People are trying to say it turns everything white in the dark, and it doesn't. You can still see the brightness. And if you're looking at this is the darker orange that this vehicle was. It's a little faded, but it didn't turn it white.
It's pretty cool though. When I first got this camera, you know, I had to power the camera separately from the Ethernet cable. So this right now is plugged in with an Ethernet cable, and because I've got this little contraption, the power now runs through this, so it's just one cable instead of two cables. I used to
You're
have
right.
Oh, that's cool.
you know, hook power onto here. So this is much easier. I'm trying to imagine how to mount these actually on my house, but I don't. When I stop and think, it's like, gosh, do I really want to cut into the walls? And do I want to, you know, I don't know. Still haven't figured that part out. I just don't have anything reflective like that would simulate a license plate, I don't think. So I've got some.
If you're still in here, thank you for the photos, bro.
I think this is Mucinex. Either that or it's some illegal drug. Don't tell anybody. Now that's not really reflective. That's just like foil.
Yeah.
Foil again.
Wow, what is that?
It was a light meter. Okay, what color is this light meter?
Red.
I don't even know.
Can you tell I like
Orange.
Orange.
I like orange too.
Yeah, I do too. That's my
I
favorite.
got all sorts of orange stuff.
All right, here's one I bet you can guess just because.
But it didn't
it
turn that white.
Jeff does have a lot of toys, doesn't he?
Yeah, my
Oh,
desk
that's
is filled with
red.
toys.
Red, black, and white. Eddie Van
What do you
Halen
think?
guitar
What do you think,
stripes.
chat, is he right? Is he right? Yep. One of these days I'm gonna have a real one, but till then I've got this one.
So if it's a red car, we would never know.
Oh wait, this has got. Well, I don't think those are real reflectors. Darn.
Yeah,
I mean,
do that
on
side.
Eddie's actual guitar, these are real reflectors.
Go take off your neighbor's license plate.
Hey, do that side, Jeff.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go to infrared.
That is wild, man. You can't tell nothing
Color.
other than the black.
All right, what about
But y'all want to know an interesting fact also? We don't really see in color. If you were to look at how we see almost as a green tint. Anyways, we don't see in color. Like we see this, how it comes back to us due to all the stuff in the eyeballs and the reflections and the lighting and everything. But if we were to see how we see every day, we see in a greenish kind of tint, which is actually pretty cool, I think.
What about a guitar slide?
And I agree with you, Joe.
Jeremiah asked, I wonder if it's possible to convert the CCTV footage to color mode.
If it's possible to what?
Like the Linda
Convert?
footage?
No, I don't think so.
To convert
Not
it to,
accurately
like,
anyway.
the
There's probably
HDR
some
mode?
like AI thing you could do, but is it real?
Yeah.
Technically, you
thing
can
that
Photoshop anything, but
Yeah.
go on, Jeff.
Or I don't know that you'd use. A lot of people say Photoshop, but Photoshop is really for still images. You'd
Yeah.
use something like After Effects to do
Is that a
video.
bullet
So,
casing,
I mean, you
Jeff?
can. No,
Guitar slide.
this is Richard Allen.
That'd be a big ass bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's just a slide. These are cool. I don't sell these or make commission off of these, but have you ever seen these? They're a little Bluetooth speaker. But what's cool, I didn't know it when I bought it, but on the bottom, this is a shutter, Bluetooth shutter trigger. So you can set up your cameras, go stand in front of it, and then click this button, and it'll release the shutter. You know, take a picture without you holding your camera. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
They come with they got like the little minions. So I don't know. I feel like I'm running out of toys to show. Oh, here's a little pig. I think my daughter did this. Maybe somebody did this. I don't even see it, but it's my face inside the pig. Yeah, with a little squiggly tail. So that's also on my desk. I know some of my haters are going to be like, I'm clipping this. I'm putting this in a video.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna make someone's video tonight. I guarantee it.
What about a highlighter? Let's see what a color highlighter.
Well, we're going to get to the next part, Joseph, if you want to stay a little bit. We're going to get to the Elantra.
So what
part.
we've learned tonight is basically in infrared night mode, everything turns into grayish white.
Oh man, if they're using infrared cameras to say that car is white, I will die.
So, as you can tell, this was a very interesting video. We went and let me put this little part up because this was pretty cool. He showed the K-bar.
Yeah.
Rough.
Once you get enough force behind it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to meet some dude in an alleyway with that.
Right.
No.
See, people say that K-bar knife did not have the capacity to take out 4 people in the middle of the night. I disagree with that. You know what I mean? Because look at that knife. Even though the one that supposedly he had was not serrated, it was just a straight edge. Look at that knife. Look how long it is. And you can't tell me that as small as those girls were, that wouldn't have plunged right through them. Answer me that. You can't tell me that K-bar would not have caused the damage that it did. I would discuss with you every day of the week and twice on Sunday that knife would cause the damage that it did. And just thinking about the fact that he carved up somebody's legs with that, supposedly, and then sat down and caught his wind and then left. Can you imagine that? Let that image sink in a little bit. Can you imagine how that would have that capacity to do that. Hey, Jeff, thank you for being here. Can you come up for a minute? I want to ask you some questions about your camera, and you're the only one to be able to answer them. Here's the link if you want to come up. I have a question to ask you about this K-bar also. Since it is your stuff, I feel it's appropriate to have you answer the question. Do you know what I mean? You might be driving. I don't know. If you are, I understand. Um, yeah, I understand that. Be careful, man. You don't have to come up. I mean, or if you just want to get on cam or just, where you can hear me and you can talk without causing a wreck. I guess what I wanted to ask you a while ago was what level did you have that camera on the out in your front yard? Were you holding it? Was it on a tripod? Did you have it leaning on something? Um, because what I was telling the chat is whatever level you had that, it would definitely lower than the 1330 camera, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen the lights. Um, you wouldn't have seen the lights so big as we saw it.
And I mean, in my mind, I've imagined. I wish I didn't have to hold this camera too. But, you're putting it. You've been practicing in front of the mirror like Robert.
See, that's why the sheath was left. Hey, you demonstrated it right there, one-handed. Something was taking that other hand, so he couldn't slip it back into the sheath. So he said, "Screw it! I'm going to throw it down here. I'm out."
We've later found out that on a Dateline episode that Xana could have been the one that interrupted him, and that's why he left the sheath. What do y'all think about that? I've asked y'all earlier, but I want you to give me your thoughts on that. Do you think Xana interrupted him and he left the sheath because she interrupted him?
But I'm thinking trying to. It was the snapping of this.
They don't look red, but
no, they don't look red.
Wait, where's my?
I've seen the red lights on infrared cameras though.
See, there's still color though.
StreamYard right there.
Okay.
So is this camera by movement or is it on all the time?
Yeah. See.
Yeah, there you go. You can see.
Yeah.
Is it on all the time? Yeah. So what it is it's like right now it's on, and I think anytime it senses motion, like right now it's probably making a long ass video clip because it's
yeah.
My hard drive will fill up, my computer will die, and I'll be like, "Thanks, guys." Yeah, I can see.
Gonna delete that clip.
Okay, no, you know what? It crossed over into Tuesday, so I've only got this thing set.
Okay, Jeff.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so you were asking about the camera, the what it was on.
Yeah, what? Because it looked like either you were holding it or you had it on a tripod.
Yeah, well, I mean, the stuff. You talking about the stuff outside where we're showing the street, cars going by.
Yeah.
I think I just set it up in the window. We've got a screen in the window. I think I took the screen out and just shot through the window. I probably opened the window a crack so that there was nothing in front of the lens.
Oh, okay.
And just shooting out at the street in front of the house.
Because you noticed that I told the chat earlier, as you were showing that, obviously the level of the camera took some of the pigmentation of the headlights out. They weren't as big as what we've seen on the Dateline episode.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that's like an element of like exposure, how the camera's choosing to expose. I'm trying to think now because on the light bulb camera in that area there, the front porch of that house that fence is is brightly lit.
Right.
But that doesn't make sense though. That would close the iris down, which seems like it would make headlights look better than they did.
Well, since this video that I'm showing right now, I've come to think that even though your label maker was a greenish tone, once you turn the night mode on, it shoots like a ray of light at the object, and it changes.
Right. It's actually 16. It's 16 little red lights on the front of the camera. They're red. They're 16 little red lights that circle the lens and point outward from the camera to hit the subject. And according to the specs for the camera, this is something Kane sent to me in a link, but it was the specs for the camera, and those little red lights only reach 100 feet. So obviously, sitting at my desk, they're reaching. But I'm wondering,
right.
I'm really wondering if there's a difference, and I'd love to test it with infrared light to see how it reacts to metal, paper, and plastic. Because the little notebook on my desk is like a shiny, it's not a matte finish. It's a shiny, shiny paper, cardboard.
Yeah.
But it's shiny. And then the label maker is a hard matte finished kind of plastic. And then of course cars are metal. So part of me wonders if that has, I don't have a complete understanding of I couldn't predict okay, I can tell you what color this is going to be the moment we switch it to infrared mode, because I just don't know.
But also, we had a commenter earlier discussing about the absence of light on a colored object would make it a dimmer color. It wouldn't necessarily turn it white. It's kind of like that green Elantra that they're talking about. It wouldn't necessarily turn that white. You would still see this guitar part right here that we're seeing on the screen. Jeff went away. Like this guitar screen that we're seeing on the screen right here. This is an orange color in the background, but you can still see a darkened color. It's just not orange. So that would, I don't agree with the lime green Elantra. And if you do, that's your prerogative, but I don't agree with it.
To record Sundays and Mondays.
Sundays.
So at least,
Oh, you set it to Monday too?
well, no.
So that's the end of that video, and I want to start on something that I started last night. And I want to also go back to Jeff's channel to steal one of his videos to be able to give this some credence, because it's always better to have a visual representation of something than to just be talking, if that makes sense. Okay, here's the camera. Let me move myself. Okay, here's the camera right here at 1330. And as you know, this is a black vehicle right here. This vehicle, I believe, is silver in color. I know it's not white, but it still looks a grayish tone. And as we know, this vehicle that leaves over here is a reddish color. But I wanted to show you the Elantra coming through here. And I'm building up to something here. That's why I'm showing you this right now. Okay, that wasn't the one that I wanted. That was the last pass. So this is the wrong video. Let me go find the right one. And if you haven't been to Jeff page, that is Jeff 8 the guitarist. And there is his page. I always get that messed up. It's 3 to 4, I think. Possibly. I think it's 3:56. Right here is going to be the time where you make the 3-point turn. And this is the time that I want to see the side of the car. Because supposedly the DoorDash driver is delivering the food at 3:59. So Brian just lucked out being ahead of the DoorDash driver. And Jeff showed in the video that I showed last night that this lasted 11 seconds. So that just makes me wonder if they had any correlation either going back down the hill or as he went down, whether they ran into each other. Because here he comes up the hill right here. 3:56:21, I think it is, maybe. Like I said, I'm really bad with these timestamps. I don't have them memorized. So please forgive me. Don't kill me. Not trying to make anything up. Maybe 3:56:31. Here it comes. See, that car is loud. That car is loud.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the screen like, why isn't it getting off 41? Here we go. 3:56 what? 50. Here it is. Here it comes.
I think 3:56:56. I think.
Okay. Here it comes right now. And the reason I'm showing this is because this is when it makes the 3-point turn. This is the time that the DoorDash driver was delivering the food at 3:59. Well, no. There it goes around the Linda Lane. Which is the one that he makes the 3-point turn? Is that 407? Well, this one right here, he goes around Queen Road. So hold your hats, folks. Hold your hats. I just thought of something. If he was going around Queen Road Apartments and the DoorDash driver was delivering at 3:59, he was at 3:57, almost 3:58 right here. So he would have been going around Queen Road as he was coming back down, and the DoorDash driver could have still been there. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, so the Elantra would have been coming up from behind the house, and maybe he drove right past the DoorDash driver, saw the DoorDash driver. Maybe the DoorDash driver didn't see him though.
Do you believe that possibly the DoorDash driver could have got him on camera though?
I don't know if if he's got the camera facing out the front windshield, and he parked in the
Yeah, you're right.
with it facing the front of the house, he might not.
You're right. Is it this one right here?
All I know is that I think of the ones that they showed on Dateline, they didn't show the 405, but I think they showed all the rest.
Okay, here's 405. See, I used to only watch this one. I never watched the 3 o'clock on. Okay, here it comes. Okay, there it is. Okay, I know you can't see it, but this camera is shooting in the dark, okay? And then Jeff showed you on his camera, you see how it lights up the trees back here? How it lights up the house or the apartments over here? But you can still see the whiteness of the car based on the bouncing of the lights off the car. You can see the lights, and you can see a little bit of light reflection right here on the vehicle. I wish this wasn't in the way, but I mean, I know why you left it. But what do y'all think about that is what I just showed you. And I'm about to show you another image in the document to show even more. What do you think about that shot, Jeff? I know that we've talked it to death, but based on the new revelations of the documents and stuff like that, what do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell because if it is, we're seeing the effect of infrared light on that car. I mean, I'm thinking it's definitely either white or it would be some, pretty bright color. I mean, that green Elantra
Yeah.
that everybody's showing lately, I think is a little too on the dark side.
Do you believe that if this was the lime green Elantra, though, we'd be able to see a little bit of the color? Because that Elantra looks pretty shiny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think with infrared you're not going to see color. I think it's only presents in, like grayscale, black and white tones.
Right.
Like, and if you look at the dumpster camera, I was looking at the dumpster camera just yesterday, and there's that moment where it switches from infrared to regular color mode because the sun has come out or starting to come out, and you can see the green bushes that, the dark green bushes turn kind of
Right.
just a kind of a, sort of a dark gray. So it's not
Right.
like green turns white every time. And
Right.
again, I really do want to do some tests to see if it has to do with, what the object is made of, whether it's paper, metal, or plastic, or, in this case, a bush. It's organic.
I like that. I mean, I wish I know there's another shot without this in the way. I'll just have to go back to your page and find it, but I do want to pull up this document right quick because this is what I wanted to show last night and I couldn't find it. Are you still driving?
Yeah, I'm driving, but this time I was trying to hit the button to see the chat and I disconnected, and I thought, man, they're gonna think I got in an accident, so I better get back on here.
I know, bro.
I'm not touching any buttons.
Okay, good. Okay, and if you don't know this document, this is a document that dropped. Freaking go back up here because I always got to prove stuff to people that they can't believe you just for your wording. This
Wool over our eyes.
Yeah, we're liars, right? Everybody lies. So this is the make and model of the suspect vehicle, and this is the one with the picture of Ridge Road, and this is what we were talking about last night as far as the car going the wrong direction at the wrong time.
No comment.
You need to make a song about that, Jeff.
Well, there's that Dr. John song, "Right Place, Wrong Time." You ever heard that? I must have.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it goes.
And I credit Nina. I credit Nina, warning label Nina, for sending me this because I could not find this last night, and she had sent it to my email. And these are showing the cameras, I guess, the light or the traffic cams. It says at approximately 12:46, the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of Albertson's grocery store. So this is talking about his trip to Lewiston. We'll get to all that. I'm sure you've seen it. This was a document on 12/29/2022 that this was written. I just wanted to show you these pictures because I know y'all have seen them, but I want to show it for educational value. Because I'm one of those people that like to see what you're talking about rather than you just talking to me about it and never showing me what you mean or what you're trying to get your point across. Because sometimes people aren't very clear. Which one are you? Here?
Hey, I did it again.
Okay, hold on.
I did it again.
Okay, there you are. You get what I'm talking about, Jeff? Oh shit.
Wait, say it again. What did?
I said I'm like one of those that like to show what I'm talking about rather than just sitting there talking. How do you turn this around?
What are you viewing it in? Is it a picture viewer? You should have maybe
It's
ability to
Adobe
rotate.
Acrobat. Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah, there should be a rotate.
There we go.
feature.
Go 12 gauge.
Just tilt your head.
Go 12 gauge. Let me shrink my big ass head over here. Let me shrink myself a little bit right there. Okay, chat. It's your time to shine, all right? Your time to shine. This photo at the very top, let me move it over. This photo right here, Jeff showed you in his video with the camera a car that was going the opposite direction, right? It wasn't an Elantra, but it was still a white vehicle and you could still see the outline. You tell me that your eyeballs are playing tricks on you, that you cannot tell the difference between a Dodge Dart, a Challenger, and all those other cars, but you're telling me that this camera had infrared just like those others, right? Did it turn this car into a shade of green? Is it dark in your eyes or is it white?
Well,
Look
also,
down
does it
here.
have a red tail light? Because if it's got a red tail light, then it's not in infrared mode.
Yeah, it's a red tail light. So
There
this
you
is
go.
a
Boom.
color.
That's
This is a color
a
one.
regular color.
And this one right here.
That car right there, that car has 3 indicators that tell me it's an Elantra. You got that side extrusion, the side molding. It's like a diagonal going slightly upward, along the full side of the car. That's one. It's the shape of the side window that has a smooth curve upward. That's kind of gradual curve upward. And then look, it's also got that shark fin antenna. I mean, the pictures I saw floating around of Dodge Darts didn't have that shark fin antenna.
But you're right. I never thought of that, Jeff. This is a color photo. It's not a black and white as people have suggested. It said, how can you tell? How can you tell that looks like a 2-door car? Okay, I can say that, but it's not a 2-door car. A 2-door car would not have that length of a window, right? It would not. If this was a 2-door car, the window and the body would end a little further up than it is going back. Does that make sense?
Right.
Also, I like this photo right here, not because of any other reason. Then there's been so many people saying there's no shots of that vehicle clear or anywhere that you can see no license plate on the front. Do you see a license plate on the front? And they showed on the Dateline. They showed on the Dateline video, and if I wasn't scared to be copyrighted, I'd go look for that little portion where Brian takes pictures of his car. He showed one of those photos did not have a front license plate, just like this, and it looked just like it. So,
That's some really interesting pictures. Why would you take pictures of your car from those angles? It's almost like he was thinking about this possibility of how his car is going to look on cameras.
Right. Granted, there's not any way that you can see a back license plate, but let me ask you this. If that green Elantra, wouldn't it have the same license plate as Brian's if that was the car indeed that was a different color? Would they not have the same license plate? And you don't think that the police have investigated that lime green Elantra? There was a reason that car pulled up right next to the destruction site and just sat there and then drove off.
Right.
It didn't
Yeah.
speed around there. The dude almost got out of his vehicle. He just sat there.
Right. It sure appears that he's just somebody who lives there.
And I like JB Gunner's thought when he said, wouldn't you just walk over there? Why would you drive around that house all those times when you live right next door?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where did the initial why did people even start looking at that green Elantra? Please don't tell me it's because of the green notebook. I don't want to think it's that.
That's pretty much it.
No.
And I've heard that there's another creator named Mark B.
See, I knew I should have brought like a blue notebook.
That started that same conspiracy.
Yeah. I think the thing is like we're getting little bits and pieces of pictures that come from videos. So in the courtroom, when they show the videos, you'll even notice it in the Dateline videos. If you sit there and look at each frame, it's kind of hard to make things out. But when you see things in motion from frame to frame to frame to frame, you get a sense of what you're looking at, what the shape of the side window is, what the shape of the side of the car is with that distinct Elantra protrusion of the side molding. I mean, I'm convinced, but that's not going to surprise any pro burgers for sure.
I'm going to show my video because I'm not going to strike myself. I'm trying to see which video it is. I need to label my videos better.
I'm glad you found that one, though.
You know how long it took me to find that?
And if you consider, too, I was looking and looking and looking. I couldn't find it.
Is this up? Okay, let me stop this one and let me go to another one. You were looking also? You know, I was looking and thinking, okay, I know that it was around this time and I know that it was a long video. So what the hell did I call it? There's multiple 12 gauges and Jeff H's on the screen everywhere we're turning. You know, somebody said hi to you a while ago. Someone said hi to you a while ago and you weren't even on the chat. Hey, Walt Harris, thank you for being here, buddy. I've been reading a little bit of what you said, and I'm sorry that happened to you. We will not be talking to you that way over here. You can guarantee that. So this is a good place to be. Thank you for being over here.
This is where the cool kids hang out.
Yeah, this is where the cool kids hang out. And this is the 4 passes or whatever the time. I didn't watch this a little bit. Okay, shut up, 12.
This video up.
Okay. Right there. I mean, if you pause it, of course it's going to be blurry. Can you explain why that is, Jeff?
Well, it's in motion, so it's gonna be blurred just because of the fact it's in motion.
Okay.
If you want it to look the sharpest, find a spot where it's stopped moving completely.
Okay. And also, people always say, well, you can't see anything. All you see is a big cloud of light. And if it was white, it would look white like this white truck. You would be able to see the difference. But to people's theory, if it was a different color vehicle, and we know that one of these vehicles is blue. So in their theory, this vehicle would be white if this camera changes color to white, would it not?
Wait, ask the question again.
Okay, we know that this vehicle is blue. I know that for a fact because the owner
Okay.
or one of the person that, well, look at these pumpkins. We know that they're orange,
Right, right.
but you can still see a little bit of crevice in between there where there is color. There's no light. I bet they're orange on the other side, but this car is blue. I know
Well,
it for a fact.
although I think the oranges are getting hit by a little light, like the from somewhere. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
street light or what it is, but I think it is definitely getting a little bit of light hitting it.
But you notice that you can see the crevices, right?
What do you mean? Oh, the little indentations in the orange
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any shadows cast from the oranges onto the railing?
No,
Okay.
they're going the other direction. They're facing toward that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that reveals for you where the light is coming from. It'd be the opposite side that the shadow's on. So yeah, it must be like a street light or something. Which is, you remember when people were talking about when the cop was walking from the band field towards the car, and they said they
Yeah.
saw the light go off at the house. I mean, I think that's probably, maybe it's the same light or a similar street light that as he was walking, I think the trees came between him and the light. I don't think that was necessarily, I wasn't convinced that was a light in the house turning off or even a car. I just thought it was, it's like the tree is causing an eclipse of that light to where he was standing. Because he's in motion. He's moving, and he's moving towards his car. And so, therefore, the trees are going to come in between him and the light is all I'm trying to say. Does that make any sense?
Right. Well, the Dateline video, we saw a lot more of this. We saw the actual 3-point turn, and that 3-point turn showed that whole car right there.
Yeah. Yeah, because
It
I think
showed it.
the side window has a unique shape that says Elantra. The side molding, again, sometimes hard to see, but you can kind of see it. But if you were able to see the bumper reflectors or the fog lights on the front, in the back, those are the indicators for telling what kind of car it is. And you can see how hard it would be. The way that you tell if it's a 11 to 13 or 14 to 16 is to look at those little reflectors on the bumper. And
Right.
you can't see the back of the car really. So now, the FBI specialist was, I don't know why he didn't just say 11 to 16 because they're all the same except for those little tiny differences.
And this is
I
what
don't know,
Jeff
maybe
is
he'll
talking
say-
about right here. These reflectors right here at the bottom of the car.
Yeah, see those
In the
reflectors
bumper.
on a 2015, any car that's 2014 to 16, those little red reflectors on the bottom of the bumper are way out to the edges of the car. And 11 to 13, they pulled them in closer together, which is why, actually, you see the picture that's right next to my image. I think it's that one. Well, my theory on why he didn't see it as and guessed it was an 11 to 13 was that the reflector, the little red reflector that he didn't see on the outer edge, was
Right
blurred
here.
from the motion blur. So he's
Of
looking at it.
course.
I think if the motion blur blurred out so he couldn't really see that reflector, he assumed there was no reflector on the outer edge. So he said, well then, of course, it's 11 to 13. But
also,
the
Jeff,
reflector is there.
it'd be interesting to see this whole video because as we've noticed with still shots, kind of like this one down here, it's so freaking grainy. You can tell a little bit. You can see the fin, you can see the window outline, you can see the kind of indentation on the doorway, but you can't really see much else, to be fair.
Right.
If they've seen this video, surely they saw the whole video. And they're able to tell if there's reflectors like this one has. They're not going to see a big old cloud. See, this was the perfect shot right here because these lights are not bleeding this whole area out. I think he had his bright lights on right here in this video. I really do because it doesn't look like his brights are on this one, but it does on the passes by the house, like this one right here. I believe that's why that's lit up so much is because of the brights. Don't bright lights shine upward a little bit? Like there's a light that shines up and there's a light that shines down.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's shining further down the road. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's higher up.
So I believe that he had his bright lights on while he was making these passes to kind of like that, the headlamp. When you're going in front of a camera, that light is high up and it kind of disguises your face because all you see is the light. You don't see anything else.
Right. Yeah, if he gave some thought to the fact that there could be cameras around there, maybe he realized, having his brights on would make it much harder to see the front of his vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think of it. Wouldn't you do that knowing what you know about the cameras? I mean, surely he has to know, well, if I put my brights on, you're not going to be able to see my car as clear as you would as this car is passing by this camera. Look how low his lights are. If his brights were on, it would have been a big old cloud of light, I believe. The same with this. I don't think he anticipated driving by this camera that it was either in color or that it would have caught his vehicle as clearly as it did, rolling on rims.
Right.
On jack stands.
On jack
On
stands.
jack stands.
That's a smooth ride because it doesn't move at all.
Can you imagine him rolling on his rims? That would have been terrible, man. No wonder it took him forever. Those were those 7 minutes everybody gripes about.
He's like, they're not going to be able to test the road for my rubber, the rubber of my tires, only the metal of my rims.
Yeah, exactly. I believe so, Alex. I believe that these are he has his brights on because, like we were just saying, the lights go up and they go down and it illuminates further down the road. There's a reason for that.
Well, also too, the better quality camera will be able to handle bright light like that and expose properly. Like I think I've got a Ring doorbell camera and that thing is pretty decent 4K quality.
Yeah.
And it's probably I think I saw that the camera that's at 1125 Ridge Road is there's two little cameras I think in the window of the corner like apartment unit or whatever it is there, and I think one is pointing one way, one's pointing the other, but those are probably like little Ring cameras that are a decent quality. So I can understand. I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, didn't it say that the when they were looking for images, they said they finally got a good one, or we got a good one? I mean, I can totally understand that they're looking at all this footage, and it's a difficult shot for a cheap camera to make a great picture of, but then they finally get one.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
let's talk about this photo for a minute, Jeff. I don't know if you watch YouTube at all, but people have been claiming booms and bams and all this other stuff. This isn't real. It's photoshopped. His face is longer. They admitted on Dateline that they had to misconstrue his face a little bit to bring it into clarity, meaning that this photo is probably not as clear on his phone as it is in this image. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that they mess with the image. It's still Brian Kohberger.
Right. I don't know if that means they just he took the picture in a he's got a shadow, so I mean there's a light source, but I don't know if it was underexposed and dark and they just brightened it up. I was interpreting what they were saying is that they just kind of cropped the photo so that it was closer so you could see it better. I think what they should have done was shown the original and then show this. I always I think when you show the original and then that I think I kind of feel like I trusted more because I want to see the original and then I want to see what is used to maybe magnify it, make it easier to see, or with the sound like Linda Lane, that he make it easier to hear. Well,
also you can tell that his nose is a little longer, and when I looked at Nina's self-imposed singing one, it looked to me like he had like a little white goatee right here down at the bottom. You see that? Like right here?
Uh-huh.
It looks like a little white goatee.
Hmm.
But I mean, I know why they did it. It still doesn't negate the fact the dude took a selfie, a lot of selfies. So instead of focusing on, well, that's Photoshop, that's superimposed, that's AI, that's this and that. Let's do anything and everything to get away from the fact that this individual has a lot of circumstantial evidence that add up to him being around that residence and potentially committing this crime. What do you think, Jeff?
Right. Well, also too, if you're law enforcement and you have taken this photo straight out of the phone, and it's got, you can tell forensically that it is the original picture out of the phone. So right out of the phone, nothing's done to it yet. It's just the original photo.
Right.
Then it's different. I mean, I don't see anything that jumps out to me and says, oh, you can see they did something to this. I mean, you'd have to show me proof of that. We don't know. I mean, and we don't know that this isn't him just trying to be kind of cool looking instead of menacing and scary. But at the same time, when you take everything else into account, it's like, I've been searching and looking into Ted Bundy, and hey, let me go take a selfie. It's like when those activities are close together, are they connected? Thing is like, still, go look at lives that we've done like a month ago, and we were saying there'll be more stuff. There's still more stuff. It's coming. We haven't seen all the puzzle pieces. I still think we say that right now and today. We still haven't seen it all. It's like the more and more I see, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like it seems almost completely obvious to me what is up. And in law enforcement, I think, has done a bang up job figuring out and solving this puzzle with not a, imagine the tools of the FBI, I'm sure, helped, but just the manpower, women power, and all the law enforcement involved to come together. They clearly have been working their butts off to gather as much as they can to solve this crime. And here's this Elantra that is acting suspicious as hell. If somebody came into my little tiny dead end neighborhood and drove through it 5 times in the span of a half an hour, and then you hear somebody has passed away at 4:17 or somewhere between 4:12 and 4:17, and then this white Elantra is speeding off at 4:20, 4:21. Something you can tell why the law enforcement wanted to talk to the person in this person or persons in this car.
Exactly. And this shot right here, Jeff, have you ever been pulled over at night by the police?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Well,
I have. I know.
I have. And the first thing they do when they walk up to your window is they shine a flashlight in your eyes just like this.
Right.
So that you can't see where they're at in case you want to shoot them or anything else like that.
Right.
So I believe that he knew that this camera was here, but he did not plan that it would get a side view clear enough that it would implicate him, especially the 3-point turn. I think he thought that his movement was going fast enough that this camera wasn't going to be able to capture as clear of images as it did. Because that's what this looks like to me. These are bright lights. These are not the low lights. And he's shining these brights as he's turning just to obstruct his car.
Well, how they'll be able to tell is, unfortunately, we don't have the benefit of seeing all the footage, but, you just compare it with the DoorDash driver pulling up. If the DoorDash driver didn't have his high beams on and this Elantra did, you'll see a difference between the two for sure.
See, because like right here, look as he turns. Do you see how high up the beams are?
Yeah.
It's shining up and out. I don't know why it makes a why it's so red in the back, or why it's so big in the back, unless he has his brights, or unless he's braking right there and it's lighting up the white in the back as
Oh
well.
yeah. If you can you play it, because you can see them dim as he lets his foot off the brake. I think as he turns the corner.
Okay, there it was.
I think. I'm
This
just
is
going.
hard, man. There it goes, right here. Damn it. You need to make a video of this all in sequence, Jeff.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, because there they kind of go a little lower than, and see, as he rounds that corner, it's not shining on this house anymore. It's shining down the street. What really got to me is on the last pass, 421, where he's rounding this, and then you see him make a left. It shines up all these trees right here, and he's not even there yet. He's right over here somewhere.
Yeah, that could be definitely an indication he's got high beams on.
Yeah.
When he turns that corner, when he's speeding out of there, I think I can't help but think of like the DeLorean in Back to the Future. I got up to 88 miles per hour and
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
We need some fuel for the flux capacitor.
We need some little tiny oranges. That's what we power it now.
Well, see, that's a great shot right there. As he's turning right here, look. I don't know what 12 gauge is saying. He's doing the pointer thing right there, so he's making a point. a little humor there.
Yeah, I can't tell which one of you is the real 12 gauge.
Hey, you know what we ought to do? What you ought to do if you have time is you ought to look at the image on this side of this truck, zoom in, and see if you can see a reflection of his vehicle as he drives by. See if it reflects enough light that you can see a clear image.
Yeah, I couldn't, but you know, there's an interesting thing that they show in the full Dateline special. They left the camera shot on the screen a little longer, and you see that house that's right behind the dumpster.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go from the dumpster and go straight up, that window catches reflection of his taillights as it passes the little house with the camera. But I mean, it's so small. All you see is it's just the lights. There's nothing to.
Yeah, I think I was
it,
able to pause it just in almost the same spot that they got the still shot. But you tell me this isn't the same car.
Yeah, let me
Does
see.
that look like it has a sunroof to you guys in the chat?
Yeah, see, it's got that smooth curve of the side window to the back to the point. It's got, I see the side protrusion in the molding, and then you can, even in this quality shot, you can see the little shark fin antenna.
No sunroof. You're right. No sunroof.
And no sunroof. Yeah. It's almost like it's Kohberger's car, isn't it?
Almost. Imagine that. See, there's a little better one. So you can see the fin right there.
Yeah, definite
you can
fin.
see the fin. And there's the window.
I mean, this is a very, very cheap camera. I mean, it just screws into a light bulb socket. I wish they'd had a much better camera.
Dang, my little Ray-Ban with the camera is clearer than this.
Yeah.
And it's a little bitty thing. It's a 4K.
You know, it makes me wonder, though, if he did that 3-point turn in front of the camera, either maybe he didn't know that was the camera. But then again, maybe if he did know it's a camera, that would explain the high beams. But the thing is, I don't know if, like, before the crime,
if he rounded this area 12 or 23 times, however many times he did it, you don't think he'd know where every camera was? You don't think that was a point of surveillance at that point?
Probably so. And what's the one place you're definitely going to look at for the camera? The front door. So I'm sure he checked the front door of every like house there, and I'm sure he saw it. It's very odd to see a black light bulb, right? If you think it's a light bulb that's screwed in there, it's like that's going to catch your eye, going to catch your attention. I don't know that he saw the cameras on Linda Lane, but maybe
You see it, right?
he see it.
Hold on. I want to show another video that you have on yours. Where's the trash can video at, Jeff? You know what I'm talking about? Where that car turned around?
It's one of my videos. It's gonna be under the Linda Lane observations category.
Okay. Before I show that, I want to show you guys exactly what kind of camera Jeff was showing a while ago. This is the camera that is on 1330.
You're wondering about the camera that captured this footage at 1330 Linda Lane. I did a little research, and I believe that this camera is made by Reolink. Not sure if this is the exact same model, but it sure looks the same to me. One thing I noticed with this footage is that the font and format of the date and time appears to be the same with the Reolink. Another observation of this Linda Lane footage, at least in the 1227 to 1229 clip that was released, there's a moment where the camera goes into color mode. Maybe you were like me and thought it was the Wizard of Oz, but no, it's simply a setting in the camera. You can set it to go manually color, or you can have it set to automatically go color when the light level is bright enough. I imagine that when the vehicle did its U-turn, the headlights brought the light level up enough for the camera to go into daylight mode or color mode. I've heard some talk about the Wi-Fi going down on November 13th. I was curious how this would affect the camera's recording. So I asked the question of this YouTuber, Home Tech DIY. Here's his response. He says the camera is hardwired to the NVR, or network video recorder, and it records footage independently of the Wi-Fi and internet connectivity. There's also a micro SD card inside the camera. So short of losing power, I imagine this camera is always watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to Home Tech DIY and also JLR Investigates. This is.
I saw that video the other day. I like it a lot. Are you still with me?
Oh, hold on a second. You have to go on without me for a little bit.
Okay. I'm looking for that dumpster video. Y'all hold on a second, guys and gals. Let me show you another video I have. Courtesy of Jeff H. Okay, I thought that video was pretty interesting. Here we go, right here. It says, I think this is the one. Maybe not. I'm just putting all the Jeff stuff up here. That's not the one I wanted. Maybe it's this one. that's not it either. Y'all be patient with me. I'm not using my stuff. I'm using Jeff's. So trying to find all his stuff. I thought this was interesting. So in theory,
all these police cars out and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They've not believe that there is a current ongoing threat. People do not have to shelter in place.
All these police cars out and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They not believe that there is a current ongoing threat. People do not have to shelter in place.
okay, I want to slow this down right there. Look at the bottom of your screen.
Not have
As you can see, the back of that window is still the same type of window as we've been looking at the Elantra.
ongoing.
Right there. Let me see if I can bring it back a little bit. And this is at Walenta Road. And this was supposedly the next morning when this reporter was reporting from the front of the house. And this vehicle was driving by. Do we know this was Brian? We don't know if it was Brian. But Jeff and I did a video on this for a couple of hours at least. I think 4 hours, where we were discussing this whole situation. If you've never seen anything that Jeff and I have done, we're very thorough and we're very long-winded. So you tell me what you think, Chad. Do you believe this could have been Brian Kohberger's car right here? Tell me what y'all think. I want y'all to get into this. I am like wired up and I haven't even had any sugar or nothing like that. Y'all think this is Brian driving by the house the next day? Because that's the closest that I can get that car stopping where you can see the whole side of it. Tell me what you think. Texas says, I think it's him. Rondi says, yes, I do. There's 2. What do you think, Jeff? You think that's him? But you don't know. I just feel it is. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. But what's so interesting is they were able to capture this without even trying to capture it. And you know what we've heard of serial killers or even killers is they always like to return to the scene of the crime because they want to soak in all the ambiance that's created by their handiwork. Leslie and Billy said, yes, I think it is. Oh no, it's so happy to be back. I think he missed us. Is there a time on that reporter's video? Let me see if I can get it at the very beginning. I don't think there is, Texas.
All these police cars out and everybody in that house, 6 people.
Okay, that car was going. See how fast it was going the other direction? Let me see if I can catch it. It's hard as hell to do this with a mouse. See, just like probably the night before, he had the concealing of the bushes up there. See, it's hard to catch it.
All these police cars out and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They've not believe that there is a current ongoing threat.
No, there's not a timestamp, but there is the best shot, I think, of the vehicle right there. They didn't say he returned after 11:13 that morning and no more, right? He doesn't. He doesn't return. Also, what's interesting in the PCA, it says after the murders, he never pinged at 11:20 or around that area in Moscow ever again, ever. After the murders, he never pinged in Moscow around the area ever again. His phone never pinged around that area. It was probably recorded, may have taped it around 4 p.m. to show on 6 p.m. news, PKC says. But that's interesting as well. So if that's true, then that might not have been him because we don't have any more sighting of his phone being in that area after 9:30 in the morning. JB Gage thinks the rear end of the car is different. Okay, that's fair enough. Unless he left his phone at home. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not saying that this is the car. I'm just saying that we always thought that this was interesting because, and I know why you would think that because the Elantra does have a rounder back, but that's just interesting. I thought that they captured that on video. The jar, I just wanted to show that while Jeff is unpacking or whatever he's doing, so he can tell me where that Linda Lane video is. As you can tell, between us, we have a lot of information on this with a lot of video footage type stuff as well because he creates it and then we put it on the lives and we talk about it for umpteen 100 hours. Are y'all tired of me yet? You ready for me to call it a night? I'm looking for that dumpster video. Not the one with the guy. Oh, here it is. Now look at this car. Look at this car that's coming up the road. People were saying a lot that this would be the Elantra at the very beginning, but look at this vehicle. I'm going to let it play, and then we're going to talk about it. Notice the differences of what I've showed you tonight, okay? So what do y'all think about that video? I know it's not the Elantra, but so many people were convinced that that was the car, that that was the sunroof and everything else. As you can see, it's not the same vehicle. It had the same type body style. It kind of sounds the same. Yeah, I think that was an Audi. I think it was. I'm waiting for Jeff here as I'm going through his library. Okay, let's watch this one. This one's pretty cool.
I stopped you when you were driving by me there. You're a little too close to back that semi. One car continue in the back of this trailer. About one car going 10 miles an hour. So going 60 or 70 miles an hour. About 6 or 7 cars. Oh, you guys did? Yeah.
So this is one of the traffic stops.
We don't have any SUVs. It was a county guy. Was it like a black SUV? Okay. All right. You saw you guys following too closely? Yeah, of course. Okay. Today? Well, I'm not going to give you guys another ticket or warning if you just got stopped. Just make sure you give yourself plenty of room, okay? So like I said, it's all about how fast you're going, okay? So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you only need one car now. Right? If you're going, so speed limit here is 7. If you're going 70 miles an hour, you need 7 cars. Yeah. That's the easy way to explain it. Yeah. It's really if you're in the B&B man, it says 2 to 3 seconds.
That's a good point, Walt. He doesn't have his hazard lights on.
All right. You guys have safe trip. Where y'all heading? Thank you so much. Where y'all heading to?
That car is dirty.
Where at? Yeah, it's a long haul. You guys scared of airplanes? Did you? Okay. All right, well, hey, peace out, safe trip. Thank you, sir.
So, I think that's all I'm going to show tonight. It's kind of getting a little late. But y'all tell me if y'all have any questions, any kind of closing thoughts, um, anything that you may have wanted clarification on that you didn't see tonight. Because my point was I wanted to show the camera portion at the very beginning more than anything. And I wanted to show you guys that, you know, there is a true difference between reality and myth. You know, there is. Because I could say anything I want and doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true until you have the understanding of what you're trying to show versus what you're presenting is factual documentation or evidence of what backing up what you're saying. And I hope that you saw that tonight because I don't believe in just getting up here and talking and showing you news clips and stuff like that. I like doing other things, and I'm glad my channel is back up and running. I'm going to treat it with a lot more diligent than I have been. I guess I got sloppy or I got burnt out or something. But please tell people this is where it's at. The chat is cool. We don't dog you. We don't yell at you. We don't call you names. We don't do any of that. And if you guys are around on Wednesday, I've changed the time from 7 p.m. Central to 9 p.m. Central. Andy Cahan, we're going to be talking about the tourniquet killer down in Houston, Texas. Andy is a profiler. He works for Crime Stoppers now of Texas, and he has a lot of different hats he wears. And he will be around to discuss that case with me. If you don't know what that case is, his name is Anthony Shore, the tourniquet killer. You might go look it up on YouTube. That way, if you decide to watch the interview with Andy, you'll be able to know a little bit all of about the case a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got copyrighted and I was gone for 7 days, so I got off timeout. I got off timeout on Sunday, so I thought I'd come back and say hello and get this started back up again. I got plenty of videos in my own place and library, so you guys go and look. I got plenty of Idaho videos. If you've never watched anything in my catalog, go and check it out. If you don't have anything else to watch, go check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. If you enjoyed this, I'm sure you'll enjoy most of the stuff that's in there. And there are other cases. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all have a good evening. Be safe out there. And Jeff, thank you for all that you do for the channel, and thank you for your video usage tonight. You guys, Maestro, cue that music.